Now I'm going to get round to the brakes on said Audi A4 Cabriolet. So we'll start by taking the wheel off. We'll start on the brake. As you can see, it's a really old disc. Still a bit of life left on the pads, not a lot, but yeah. I'm going to need to undo the bolt at the back around here. It's down at the back there. This bolt right here, and there's one underneath. And that'll drop the caliper completely off. That'll be either a 15 or a 14. In a 14. Don't seem to want to be a 15 either with the corrosion built up on it. Might actually be wrong. Listen, I'll just drop the caliper off first. Now 13, of which we're going to have to use a spanner for. Oh, 12. Okay, really loose 13 then. That brake is currently disengaged. Just little retaining bolts that hold the caliper to the caliper carrier. So they're nice and tight. It's not wanting to come off. I guess whoever painted these calipers painted them in place. the nut for the slide pin. It's actually bonded to the carrier. And that. Still loads of life left on them pads. Yeah, scored up to fuck. Yeah, scored up to match that disc. Now I need to work on getting this carrier off. Or I could just do that, that's easier. And while I'm here, before putting that disc back on, I'll put the wind back tool in there. 2-pin. That's about right. This is a borrowed tool, so I'm not sure how that's supposed to come off there. I'll just, yeah, that works. Sit into the piston there, the two little notches, which the 2 pins sit into. We need a bigger spanner. They really don't want to wind. Really, really don't want to wind. I'd be able to rehang that on there. See if we can do it like that. Will that go through? That's not winding. It's absolutely not winding at all. Just bending that bar. I'll do this part off camera. Oh, that was quite an ordeal. I've got it wound back with much sweat. I had to break open the lead nipple and fully mount it, remount it back to the carrier. But got it done in the end. So I'm just going to take this caliper back off its carrier. Got our new brake pads here for the rears. what I will do is instead of putting the dropper grease, copper grease, onto the back of the pad, I'll put it on the piston and on these arms on the caliper, because that's really, when it makes contact, I did have to re-grease the lower slide pin, because that, like I said, it was painted in place by whoever. It was also seized up on the inside. It was refusing to come out altogether, and well, wasn't trying to get it out, but it wouldn't come out. It wouldn't come out as far as I wanted it to come out in order to remount that caliper. Here's our new disc. I'm in two minds whether to put a little bit of grease between the hub and the disc. I've never really seen anybody do it, but I have experience in the past where your disc actually gets stuck on there. You end up beating it off with a hammer or something. I've got greasy hands, so I'm not going to touch the actual brake surface. I might just put a couple of dabs around this inner face, just to help any future maintenance changes, etc. Like these bushes ever need doing, the disc and all surrounding components would have to come undone. Not that, just a quick wipe. I don't want it to spread out to the disc or fly out under centrifugal force. So just a bit of a fine smear. As long as I don't get it on the face, it should be fine. Well, we'll be fine. It lines up just like that. And now I'll put these brake pads onto the carrier itself against the disc, one either side, front and rear. And then I can hand the carrier back on. You can, in some circumstances. I don't believe I'll be able to do it with this because the brake cable comes from the top and the handbrake cable comes from the bottom. But in some circumstances, you can just rotate the caliper up out the way, change the pads, and then rotate it back into place. In this case, I don't think I'll be able to get away with that. The slide pins getting in the way. Just like that. And I'll use my saw leg. push that back into place. Get a few turns on this. There's in some circumstances where they actually come with new bolts for these slide pins, but in our case they did not. I've never, so there won't be any new Loctite or anything on it. I've never really had an issue where they come undone after I've installed brakes. That's now on there. For comparison, that's the old disc, that's the new disc. As you can see, this is an absolute state. In fact, it's actually rusted so bad there's a mil or so actually sunken down there. And then all this is just built up corrosion, and that was the old surface where the pad made contact. Amazing. Be there. But I'm going to get this wheel on and I'll make a start on the front. Alright, this is the front brake, same deal. Disc is all pitted, rusted, rotten. I won't be surprised if there's bits missing off the back of that as well. Caliper's a little bit different, but I'll be doing the same thing. On this one I could get away with tipping it up, but because we're doing the disc as well, I do need the carrier off. So let's get started on that. The sliders, it's like a 7mm Allen key. It sits underneath this cap right there. It's 7mm to undo that, and that undoes the slider bolt from the caliper when it wants to come undone. That's really tight. That's a knuckle basher if I've ever seen one. Now they're undone, this will basically slide out. A little spring goes over the top. Like that. Before I pull that off, I'm just going to take the plug for the brake wear sensor off and pop that out of there. Now that I've got them broken loose, don't hit yourself with it. The washer's got these like teeth on it. I'm assuming that's what was holding it so tight. Yeah, at least there's no trunks missing out of it. A lot of corrosion and crap on there though. Right, I'm going to put this back on because I'm going to try and use this to wind back the piston the same way I did the rears. All I really try to do on this one is push the piston in. These pistons don't wind like the rears do. The rears wind because of the way the handbrake works. It's working. And that's that. That one went a lot easier than the rears did. Turns it into a process, but I don't mind as long as it works. Don't want to come out. That's the lid there. Yeah, it's them washers because they've gone really tight again. I didn't put them that tight. Leverage. Big gun. a new disc. I'll do the same again. Just a couple of dots of copper grease, just to prevent it from sticking to the hub. Although, to be fair, the previous 2 discs weren't stuck and they look pretty corroded. But just put a bit on anyway. Right, now that I've got all them back on, I've got this clipped back up. It's all mounted up and all bolted up. Now that that wheel's on, I'm now going to lock it down, drop it down onto the floor. I lifted both the front and rear from this point here, and that'll conclude this.